What's up, guys? Another hot, sunny summer day here in Kansas City. Kids are enjoying their blow-up pool again, and got them some fresh coconut, or as fresh as we can get here in Kansas City. So they drank some coconut water, and now they're eating some of that coconut meat, which is really good. But I wanted to provide a quick update on our garden. We were out of town for a few days here over July 4th weekend. Went down out of town to a family's cousin's wedding, and it was a really good time. Kind of our official, unofficial family gathering since pre-COVID, so it was really nice to get to see everyone again. But anyways, so we were out of town for a few days. Before I left, I didn't get video of it, of course, unfortunately, but I put in some irrigation tubing on the garden, in the garden, to try to keep, and I had an automatic timer set up to try to get some water in the garden while I was away. And I was excited because I thought coming back, you know, garden would be looking really nice. And well, it's looking nicer than when we first started the garden, but unfortunately what happened was we came back, and turns out we basically just created a buffet for all of wildlife. So tomatoes, we came back, and of course tomatoes were really looking all that great to begin with. They just really had a slow start. Some of them are starting to grow well, but you can see here tomato hornworms just had a feast on about 10 of these tomato plants. Pretty much just down to the stem on a lot of these plants. So those were tomato hornworms that took those out. And then our chickens, we didn't have a problem with this last year or the last couple years, but our chickens have found our cucumber plants. Now this one, I should probably get that before the chickens get to it, but I came out here, and some of these cucumbers that were growing, I picked some of them already, but they were getting demolished by the chickens. I don't know if I mentioned, but in one of the previous videos, I probably haven't, but for a while the chickens were staying off of this black tarp, which was kind of convenient. I wasn't expecting that, but for the most part they don't really venture onto the black tarp, the fabric. And so I thought that the garden would be safe, but just from the grass to the cucumbers, it's a short walk, and I did catch them in the act. Cucumbers are getting eaten by the chickens. This I actually thought was zucchini. Turns out to be a pumpkin. Looks like a pumpkin plant. But anyways, the squash bugs, I've been defeated. That one looks like it's finally getting taken down by some squash bugs. It's a little too late now. I can't save it. I have been coming through almost daily and trying to rid all the squash bugs manually. Actually, I see here there's some eggs there. I've been trying to remove the eggs, trying to remove the squash bugs, and it's just, I can't keep up with it. It's kind of crazy. Here, basil plant. I've caught some Japanese beetles on this plant. So Japanese beetles have gotten to that. I haven't caught what's been eating our pepper plants, but something took out our pepper plants. Let's see. So once again, the garden isn't growing as well as I would have hoped. The long beans are starting to finally climb, so that's a good sign. Nothing's really bothering those yet. Got some Malabar spinach that finally sprouted, but I caught a caterpillar on there yesterday, so something's been munching on those. The Malabar spinach, that even hasn't been growing all that well, but something's already getting to it. These were some mustard greens, some Chinese mustard greens that I was actually really excited for, and I actually chopped them all down because it was just looking nasty. But here you can see one that's remaining. These little bugs, I don't know what they are, but they just devoured. I mean, once again I was excited to get these harvested, because I was like, my aunt, she grows these greens, and she somehow successfully keeps them looking great by the time she gets them harvested. And I know she doesn't use pesticides or anything, And so I was for sure, I was like, well, there's probably no bugs that eat those, because they can be kind of bitter. But they were just demolished by those bugs. I mean, the leaves, that's what they look like. Insane. And so I just, this bed is just a goner. Watermelon's doing okay so far, but not really flourishing. Zucchini plants, there's a few zucchinis coming out. Some squash here. We already picked one and munched on one. But for the most part, I was able to save most of them. 2 of them succumbed to squash bugs. What else? So we have some basil over Thai basil, I believe, mint. This pepper plant so far is doing okay, although I see some bugs there. Lemongrass. This was arugula. Once again, I think the arugula was going to be safe. Apparently not. That's been destroyed by I don't know what bug. But yeah, it's been kind of a disaster this year with this garden. So that was what we came back to after being away for several days. Corn finally came up. Got several rows planted, but some of them aren't coming up. I know we're much later in the year than we should be, but we got the corn in, so we got several rows. Hopefully they'll start to come up. And then over there, we got the pumpkin plants in the ground. Most of them have sprouted and have already come up, as you can see. So hopefully we'll have some pumpkins by Halloween for the kids. But that's kind of what's going on with our garden. Definitely didn't turn out the way that I expected. I follow some Facebook pages, some homesteading groups, and it sounds like a lot of folks, I don't know, it seems like every year, but sounds like a lot of folks also are kind of struggling with their garden. I mean, if it's not the heat, then it's just the amount of rain that we're getting here in the Midwest. And obviously if it's not the rain or the heat, then it's the bugs. And it's just one after another. And you know, we're trying not to spray because we're trying to keep it natural. But it's probably discouraging. So I know, once again, we're far from experts at any of this. And I know there's a lot of channels that I watch. Folks obviously out there that do a far better job. They do it naturally. Props to those folks that do it and that can do it full time. But this obviously is not a full-time gig for us. Yeah, it's nice to try to grow our own food, try to raise our own food, but unfortunately I'm not out here all the time tending to it. So try to automate the process with the watering, but even that just wasn't enough, because even if it's thriving, then the animals are just getting to it. Insects are getting to it before we are. But anyways, that's the update on the garden. Hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July holiday. Hope your summer's going well. I think our kids are enjoying theirs. So apologize for the lack of videos, but it's just been a little crazy. Got a few more videos that I'm working on. Hopefully I'll get them uploaded soon, but that's it for now. That's the update on the garden.